South China Sea, 0400 hours. A dense, humid fog clings to the water, muting the sound of the swell. In the darkness, a 180-meter silhouette cuts through the waves at 30 knots with a predatory, silent efficiency. There are no jagged edges, no exposed lattices, only the smooth, flared geometry of a hull designed to vanish from enemy radar screens. Suddenly, a dull roar vibrates through the steel. A single hatch on the forward deck snaps open. A streak of fire erupts, accelerating at Mach 6. This is not a standard cruise missile. It is the YJ-21, a hypersonic carrier killer. In under 10 minutes, it will reach a target 1,500 kilometers away. The vessel from which it launched is officially called a destroyer by Beijing. But the Pentagon has abandoned that label. To the US Navy and NATO, this is the Renhai-class Cruiser. It is the largest, most heavily armed surface combatant in the Pacific. To understand the Type 055, one must look past the propaganda to the clinical data of its construction. Displacing a full load weight of 13 million kilograms, 13,000 tons, the Type 055 is nearly 30% larger than the US Navy's current Flight 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. Its physical footprint alone, a length of 180 meters and a beam of 20 meters, marks it as a vessel designed for blue water dominance rather than coastal defense. It is powered by 4 QC280 gas turbines in a combined gas and gas COGAG arrangement, generating a staggering 112 megawatts, 150,000 shaft horsepower. This massive power reserve is not merely for reaching its 30-knot flank speed. It is the lifeblood of an integrated battle management system that rivals any contemporary platform. The ship is built around the Type 346B Dragon Eye dual-band radar system. Unlike many Western destroyers that rely on a rotating mast or a single primary frequency, the Type 055 integrates its sensors into the ship's very skin. It utilizes 4 S-band AESA panels mounted on the superstructure for long-range volume search and tracking. These panels are estimated to be 40% larger than those on previous Type 052D destroyers, providing a massive increase in transmission power and sensitivity. 4 smaller X-band panels mounted on the integrated mast for high-precision fire control and the engagement of low-altitude threats. The result is a ship that can track hundreds of aerial targets simultaneously, from low-flying cruise missiles to high-altitude satellites. In the naval hierarchy of 2026, the Type 055 serves as the command node, coordinating entire task groups and extending the sensor reach of every ship in the formation. The official narrative suggests that the Type 055 is merely an escort for China's growing carrier fleet. But the official records omit a critical reality. The Type 055 is not just a shield, it is a primary offensive arsenal ship, designed to achieve sea denial through raw firepower. By 2026, the brutal truth has become clear. China has successfully bypassed the traditional limits of shipborne weaponry. While Western navies have focused on incremental upgrades to existing hulls, Beijing built a platform specifically sized to carry the next generation of heavy ordnance. The Type 055's true outlier status comes from its vertical launch system, a 112-cell magazine that makes it the most lethal surface combatant in service today. The clinical heart of the Type 055's threat is the GJB 5860-2006 Universal Vertical Launch System, VLS. The VLS paradox. In modern naval warfare, the number of VLS cells is a primary metric of staying power. The US Arleigh Burke carries 96 cells. The Type 055 carries 112, 64 forward and 48 aft. While a 17% numerical advantage is significant, the actual disparity is found in the physical dimensions of the cells themselves. Chinese VLS cells are significantly wider and deeper than the American Mark 41 launchers. The Type 055 reportedly utilizes the large 9-meter depth variant, capable of cold launch and hot launch operations. This increased volume allows for the integration of missiles that simply cannot fit inside current Western launchers. The Hypersonic Edge, YJ-21. In May 2026, the YJ-21 is no longer a rumor. It is an operational asset. This anti-ship ballistic missile, ASBM, has fundamentally broken the traditional 300-kilometer engagement envelope. Cruise speed, Mach 6. Terminal speed, Mach 10. Range, 1,000 to 1,500 kilometers. A single YJ-21 launched from a Type 055 in the Philippine Sea can reach a target near Guam in minutes. Current Western Aegis-based interceptors struggle against the terminal pop-up maneuvers and erratic flight paths of these hypersonic threats. The multi-mission magazine. The Type 055 doesn't just carry hypersonic assassins. Its 112-cell magazine allows for a lethal mix of HHQ-9 surface-to-air missiles for long-range area air defense, YJ-18 anti-ship cruise missiles, subsonic cruise with a Mach 3 terminal sprint, CJ-10 land attack cruise missiles for striking distant air bases and infrastructure, anti-submarine torpedo missiles, extending the ship's reach against silent undersea threats. The second batch, Batch 2 enhancements, 2025 to 2026. The brutal truth escalated in late 2025 with the launch of the second production batch. Reports from early 2026 confirmed that the newest hulls, including the Dongguan and Anqing, feature significant internal upgrades. Power generation. New QD50 turbine generators reportedly provide a 60% increase in surplus electrical power. Directed energy readiness. This electrical surplus is widely believed to be preparation for directed energy weapons, lasers, and microwave jammers, designed to neutralize the growing threat of massed drone swarms. Stealth refinement. Minor modifications to the midship structure and smokestack have reportedly further reduced the ship's infrared and radar cross-section signatures. As of March 9, 2026, the People's Liberation Army Navy has officially commissioned 10 Type 055 destroyers. The distribution of these ships across China's theater commands reveals a clinical, strategic plan. Northern and Southern theaters, home to the original 8 hulls, serving as the iron umbrella for China's aircraft carrier strike groups. Eastern Theater. The recent assignment of the Dongguan and Anqing to the East Sea Fleet signals a direct shift in the balance of power facing Japan and the Taiwan Strait. In recent March 2026 live-fire exercises, the Type 055 demonstrated Cooperative Engagement Capability, CEC. Using its massive S-band radar, a single Type 055 provided precision targeting data for missiles launched from smaller Type 052D destroyers located 100 kilometers away. This sensor-shooter integration means that the Renhai can direct an entire fleet's firepower without the smaller ships ever turning on their own vulnerable radars. The Type 055 is an engineering post-mortem of 21st century naval theory. Financially, the brutal truth is one of scale and speed. While each hull is a massive investment, China's industrial capacity allows for the simultaneous construction of multiple Batch 2 ships. The first 8 ships were commissioned in a span of just 3 years, 2020 to 2023. A rate of production that Western shipyards currently cannot match. Strategically, the strategic impact is binary. You either have a Type 055 class vessel in your task force, or you are operating at a fundamental sensory and offensive disadvantage. The ship is not without its risks. Its high concentration of 40% of the class in the Eastern Theater leaves gaps in other carrier escorts. Furthermore, the clinical reliance on integrated electronics makes it a high-priority target for cyber and electronic warfare. However, the data remains. A lesson in what happens when a nation decides to ignore standard naval classifications and build a 13 million kilogram outlier. The Type 055 is stealthy enough to hide, powerful enough to lead, and armed with weapons that, for now, have forced every other navy in the world to rewrite their engagement manuals. The tactical advantage in the Pacific has shifted. It is no longer measured in total fleet tonnage, but in the speed of the hypersonic missiles launched from these 180-meter silhouettes. The sea does not forgive. Subscribe for more analysis.